Okay, greetings to you all, and welcome to today's discussion. Yes, so in our discussion this evening, we're going through neonatal jaundice. Yes, so neonatal jaundice, that is the topic that we'll discuss this evening, and will be guided by this question. Yes, so the stem of the question for tonight reads: Bupe, 14 days old, is admitted to a pediatric wing with complaints of yellow discoloration of the skin, the sclera, and the conjunctiva. Serum albumin concentration were 11 milligrams per deciliter. A diagnosis of jaundice was made. Yes, so that is the stem of the question. So before you even start attempting answering the questions, it is very vital that you go through the stem of the question, you get to understand it. In doing that, it will make it very easy for you to manage the client and also to answer the exam questions. Yes, so it is very vital that you examine your stem of the question before answering. Yes, so question A1, it is saying define neonatal jaundice. Right? So in my definition, I'm saying neonatal jaundice, basically this is just a condition in which there is a yellowish discoloration of the skin, the sclera, and the conjunctiva due to excessive deposition of unconjugated bilirubin. Yes, so that is the definition of neonatal jaundice. So when you are defining a condition, it is also very vital that you ensure that you bring in important points that are required in that definition for you to get the required 5%. Yes, so before we move to question A2, allow me to briefly talk about the metabolism of bilirubin, or how bilirubin is formed. Yes, so we all know to say that bilirubin, it comes due to excessive, or it comes due to what? The breakdown of red blood cells. Right? So when the red blood cells are broken down, there is a product which is formed, which we call heme. Right? So that heme, it will be converted to bilirubin with the help of an enzyme known as heme oxygenase. Right? So that bilirubin, it will further be converted to unconjugated bilirubin with the help of an enzyme known as bilirubin reductase. So it is very important that you know this enzyme. Yes, so that bilirubin, it is converted to unconjugated bilirubin with the help of an enzyme known as what? Known as bilirubin reductase. Right? Then, for conjugation to take place, that unconjugated bilirubin, it has to travel to the liver for conjugation. We know that the conjugation of bilirubin takes place in the liver. Right? So after the conversion of bilirubin to unconjugated bilirubin has taken place, that unconjugated bilirubin has to be carried to the liver for conjugation. So for it to be carried, it is usually carried on one of the plasma proteins. We know that there are 3 plasma proteins. We have albumin, we have globulin, and we also have fibrinogen. Yes, so albumin, it is the one that carries unconjugated bilirubin to the liver for conjugation. So that unconjugated bilirubin, it usually binds to albumin. Yes, so once it binds to albumin, that albumin, it will help it to do what? To move to the liver for conjugation. Yes, so once in the liver, that unconjugated bilirubin, it will be converted to conjugated bilirubin by an enzyme known as glucuronil transferase enzyme. Yes, so glucuronil transferase enzyme, it is the one that converts unconjugated bilirubin to conjugated bilirubin. Yes, so in other words, we are saying unconjugated bilirubin, it is also known as indirect bilirubin. On the other hand, conjugated bilirubin, it is also known as direct bilirubin. Yes, that is briefly how bilirubin is formed. Yes. Then moving to question A2. Question A2, it is saying list 5 causes of neonatal jaundice. Yes, list 5 causes of neonatal jaundice. So it is very important as well to know what they mean when they say list. So you don't have to explain any further here, but you just need to list them. Yes, so one of the causes of neonatal jaundice, it is a liver insufficiency. Yes, we could just say immature liver. Yes, the other cause of neonatal jaundice could also talk of sickle cell disease. Yes, sickle cell disease, it also brings about neonatal jaundice. Yes, in addition to that, we could also mention biliary tract obstruction. Yes, when there is an obstruction in the biliary tree, this will basically bring about neonatal jaundice. Yes, in addition to that, we could also talk of enzyme deficiency. Yes, so if there is a deficiency of enzymes that facilitates in the conjugation process of unconjugated bilirubin, this will bring about a jaundice. Yes, then final but not the least, we could also talk of insufficiency of serum albumin. Yes, so once there is a low serum albumin, basically this means that there will be a failure of the of unconjugated bilirubin to be transported to the liver for conjugation. Yes, so all these causes jaundice. Yes. Then moving to question B. Question B, it was saying compare and contrast the two types of jaundice. Yes, so before I answer this, allow me first to mention at least 5 signs and symptoms that a patient with jaundice may present with. Yes, so one of the signs and symptoms could be a dark stool. The other one could be a poor feeding, right? In addition to that, we could also talk of lethargy, dark amber urine, and also enlarged spleen. The spleen may be enlarged. Yes, then moving to our question now, the question was saying compare and contrast the two types of jaundice. So there are two main types of jaundice, right? We have pathological jaundice and we also have physiological jaundice, right? So on top of physiological jaundice, this one, it is just a form of jaundice that comes as a result of normal transition process of a child. You know that the child was when the child was still in utero, the child was depending on upon his or her mother. Yes, but after just a delivery, the baby will be depending upon himself. So during that transition process, may bring about what we call a physiological jaundice. Yes, so in most cases, physiological jaundice, it usually fades on its own without any interventions. Yes, it usually fades on its own without any fundamental interventions, and it usually fades within a week. Yes, and for this form of jaundice, basically it doesn't require any phototherapy for treatment. Yes, and this one you can manage the child even at home. It doesn't require any admission. Yes, you need to know that. Then on the other hand, when we talk of a pathological jaundice, this one basically it is just a form of jaundice that comes as a result of we could say infections. So if the child has got infections such as I could say malaria, this could lead to a pathological jaundice, right? So for this form of jaundice, this form of jaundice, it requires admission, due to the fact that without any interventions, you find that the child will have that complication which we call kernicterus. Yes, there is a complication of which we're going to discuss it on the last question, which we call kernicterus. So this one, it usually brings about that condition. Yes, so for this form of jaundice, this one, it can be diagnosed within 24 hours. The child may have it within 24 hours because the child may have contracted some infections. Yes. Then question C, it was saying identify 5 problems that baby whoop is likely to encounter and nurse the baby using a nursing care plan. Yes, identify 5 problems that baby whoop is likely to encounter and nurse the baby using a nursing care plan. So baby whoop is likely to have a number of problems. Yes. The baby whoop is likely to have a number of nursing problems. So one of them could be a fluid volume deficit. So this fluid volume deficit comes in as a result of what? As a result of the child's poor feeding or due to phototherapy that the child has been undergoing. Yes. Then in addition to that, we could also talk of hyperthermia. Yes, hyperthermia could also come in as a result of what? Phototherapy treatment. Yes, so hyperthermia due to phototherapy. Yes, in addition to those two, we could also talk of altered the nutritional status less than the body requires. Yes, so this one could also come in as a result of the child's what? Poor feeding. Yes, then in addition to that, we could also talk of impaired skin integrity. So the skin of the child may also be impaired due to the same phototherapy that this child may be subjected to. Right? Then finally but not the least, could also mention risk of infections because of this child has been admitted in this pediatric ward. So if we don't put in some measures to prevent the infections, the child is likely to have some infections due to the procedures that may be carried out on the patient. Yes. Then moving to question D. Question D, it was saying state the complications of neonatal jaundice. Yes. Question D, it was saying state the complications of neonatal jaundice. So the main complication of neonatal jaundice is kernicterus. Right? So whenever you're asked about the complication of neonatal jaundice, please mention kernicterus. That is the main complication. So kernicterus, basically, this is just a brain damage that comes in as a result of excessive deposition of unconjugated bilirubin to the brain. Yes, so once there is a excessive unconjugated bilirubin deposition to the brain, this will eventually lead to a condition known as kernicterus. Yes, so that was the complication that the examiners were looking for. Yes, so those are the things that I wanted us to discuss on, unless if you have any questions that requires clarifications. Otherwise, have a blessed evening.